Okay, so you know how we're always talking about AI, like these large language models and all the amazing things they can do?
Yeah.
Well, get this. A general AI just scored like almost 68% on a test designed for medical doctors in the US.
Wow.
Think about that. A computer program nearly passing a human medical licensing exam.
That's incredible. I mean, would you have thought a general AI could even come close to that level on such a specialized test?
Honestly, a couple of years ago, I would have said, no way. But things are changing so fast, and that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. We're going to explore this fascinating intersection of cutting-edge AI and the incredibly complex world of medicine.
Yeah, so if you're interested in how AI is going to change the future of healthcare, you're in the right place.
Definitely stick around and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our deep dives.
All right, so let's jump right in. Today we're tackling a really interesting challenge. How do we take these powerful general purpose large language models, the LLMs we always talk about, and make them work for specific applications in medicine?
Right. Because it's one thing for an AI to write a poem or summarize a news article, but medical applications.
Yeah, those are way more demanding.
Absolutely. We're talking about things that could have a huge impact on people's health, like accelerating drug discovery, assisting doctors with making critical decisions.
Helping to personalize your healthcare journey, it's a big deal.
And to really understand how this is all happening, we've been going through tons of research, looking at how these models are being built, trained, fine-tuned, and even the system engineering behind making these medical AI systems reliable.
It's a pretty intricate process, but it's fascinating to see how much progress is being made. And our mission here is to break it all down for you.
Exactly, to give you a clear understanding of how this adaptation of general AI for medicine is happening. We'll cut through the technical jargon and highlight the developments that are truly interesting and, most importantly, the ones that hold real promise for impacting people's well-being.
Because that's what matters in the end, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so let's unpack this. We've got these generalist LLMs, these incredibly powerful models that can understand and generate human-like text. We see them powering chatbots, helping with writing, even creating art. They're impressive, but the research shows that when you throw them into the very specialized world of medicine, they can make mistakes.
And not just any mistakes. We're talking about mistakes that could have serious consequences.
Right, because in medicine, accuracy is paramount. A wrong diagnosis or an incorrect treatment recommendation can be incredibly harmful.
Precisely. And one of the key issues that researchers have identified is that these general models can generate information that sounds perfectly plausible but is actually incorrect. These are often called hallucinations.
Hallucinations. That sounds a bit unnerving.
I know, right? But think of it this way. Imagine an AI confidently stating that a particular drug combination is safe when, in reality, it's known to be dangerous.
Yeah.
That's a medical hallucination. And if a doctor were to rely on that information, it could lead to a very bad outcome for the patient.
So it's not enough to just feed a general AI a bunch of medical textbooks and expect it to become a reliable doctor.
No, not at all. These models need specific adaptations to make them safe and effective for use in medicine. It's not just a nice to have, it's an absolute necessity.
Got it. So how do researchers approach this adaptation process? How do they take a general AI and give it the medical expertise it needs to be helpful and safe?
Well, the research points to a really useful framework for developing medical LLM applications. It's a three-step process: modeling, optimization, and system engineering.
Okay, let's break that down. Starting with modeling, what does that involve?
Modeling is essentially about building medical-specific models. There are a couple of key approaches here. One is called pre-training. It's like building a strong foundation of medical knowledge.
So instead of starting with a blank slate, you're giving the AI some basic medical training.
Exactly. This involves taking a generic LLM and continuing to train it on massive amounts of medical data. This data can include things like research articles from PubMed, medical textbooks, even electronic health records. Of course, all of this is done with strict privacy safeguards in place.
So you're giving the AI a medical school education, but digitally.
You could say that, and there are some great examples of models that have gone through this kind of medical pre-training. Metatron, for instance, is based on the open-source Llama model, but has been further trained on a vast collection of medical text. And the interesting thing is that it's been shown to perform comparably to much larger generalist models when it comes to answering medical questions.
Wow, so size isn't everything when it comes to AI.
Apparently not. Another example is Panacea, which was specifically pre-trained on clinical trial documents. The goal here is to speed up the development of new treatments by helping researchers search for relevant trials, design new ones, and even identify potential participants.
So medical pre-training is like laying the groundwork for a medical AI. What's the next step in this modeling process?
The next step is instruction fine-tuning. This is where you get more specific. Instead of just feeding the model raw medical text, you start teaching it to perform specific tasks. You show it examples of custom queries and the expected responses, essentially teaching it by example.
Got it. So it's like giving the AI a medical residency where it learns to apply its knowledge to specific situations.
Exactly. And this is where we start seeing some really impressive results. For example, MedPal-M, which was fine-tuned on a massive data set of medical questions and answers, was able to achieve that incredible accuracy we talked about earlier on the U.S. medical licensing exam style questions.
Almost 68%.
Right, almost 68%. And that really highlights the potential of these models to understand and apply medical knowledge. Another important aspect of fine-tuning is alignment. This ensures that the model's outputs are not only accurate, but also safe and consistent with human preferences.
Because we don't want an AI doctor that's going rogue.
Absolutely not. We want to make sure these models are aligned with human values and ethical guidelines. And a technique called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF, is playing a key role here. For instance, in Lemma Clinic, clinicians provided feedback to guide the model in generating high-quality clinical notes.
Okay, so pre-training gives the AI a broad medical foundation, and fine-tuning hones those skills for specific tasks and ensures it behaves responsibly. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can think of it like this. Pre-training is like getting a general undergraduate education, learning the fundamentals across many subjects. Fine-tuning is then like going to graduate school or specializing in a particular field like cardiology or dermatology.
I like that analogy. Okay, so we've built our medical models. What's next in this framework? You mentioned optimization.
Right, optimization is all about making these models perform even better. There are several key strategies here. One is prompt optimization, which focuses on crafting really effective prompts.
Prompts being the instructions we give to the AI.
Exactly. By carefully crafting these prompts with clear task descriptions, specifying the desired output format, and even providing examples, we can significantly influence the quality and accuracy of the model's responses.
So it's like giving very clear and specific instructions to a really smart but sometimes literal-minded assistant.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of research going on in this area, exploring different prompting techniques. For example, chain of thought prompting encourages the LLM to show its reasoning step by step, which can lead to more reliable outputs. Another approach is ensembling, where you use multiple different prompts and combine the outputs for a more robust answer.
Interesting. And are there any specific examples of prompt optimization in the medical field?
Absolutely. MedPrompt is a notable example. It combines several prompting techniques and has actually outperformed some specifically trained medical LLMs in certain tasks. Then there's Trial GPT, which uses clever prompting to match patient notes with the eligibility criteria for clinical trials.
Wow, so carefully crafting those prompts can really make a difference. What other optimization strategies are out there?
Another important one is retrieval augmented generation, or RAW. This is where you give the LLM access to external knowledge bases to enhance its answers.
So instead of just relying on its internal knowledge, it can go out and grab the latest information.
Precisely. In medicine, this could involve pulling in information from medical literature, clinical guidelines, or medical ontologies, which are basically structured maps of medical concepts.
So it's like giving the AI a research librarian who can find the most relevant and up-to-date information.
Yes, exactly. And this is incredibly important in medicine, where things are constantly changing. Then we have AI agents and AI chains. An AI agent is basically an LLM with a bit more agency. It can interact with the real world or other software to achieve a specific goal.
So it's like an AI assistant that can take some initiative.
Exactly. In medicine, we're seeing conversational agents being developed for things like initial medical diagnosis and agents that can assist with complex research tasks.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. What about AI chains?
AI chains involve breaking down complex tasks into multiple smaller steps, each handled by an LLM call. This can improve transparency and control over the final output. For example, WikiChat uses a chain of LLM calls to query Wikipedia, summarize information, fact-check, and then draft a response, resulting in much higher factual accuracy.
So it's a more structured and controlled way of using AI to get reliable information. And can you give a medical example of how this might work?
Sure. Let's say a doctor wants to extract a specific group of patients from a large database based on certain criteria. An AI chain could break this down into steps like extracting key concepts from the doctor's request, generating the database query, and then making sure the results match what the doctor was looking for.
That sounds pretty powerful. Okay, we've covered modeling and optimization. What about the last piece of this framework, system engineering?
System engineering is all about building robust, real-world applications that healthcare professionals can actually use. It's about taking these AI models and optimized components and integrating them into the healthcare ecosystem.
So it's not just about the AI itself, but about how it fits into the bigger picture of healthcare.
Exactly. And this involves breaking down complex medical workflows into smaller, manageable subtasks, and then organizing these subtasks into effective pipelines.
So it's like designing a well-oiled machine, with each part playing a specific role.
Exactly. And at the module level, you need to define specific objectives and constraints for each component. For example, a module for summarizing patient records might need to be concise, accurate, and fast. Then you need to decide which LLM to use, how to prompt it, and how to integrate it with other tools like retrieval systems or specialized databases.
It sounds like a lot of careful planning and coordination. And then these modules are organized into pipelines. How does that work?
Think of a complex task like conducting a systematic review of medical literature to determine the best treatment for a specific condition. This involves multiple steps: searching for relevant studies, screening them, extracting information, and then synthesizing the findings. An AI pipeline can handle each of these steps with dedicated modules.
So you're essentially automating the entire process of medical research. That's incredible.
It has the potential to be. But integrating all these different modules comes with its own set of challenges. You need to make sure they can communicate effectively and that the information flows smoothly from one module to the next. This is where specialized frameworks like LangChain and Lamy Index come in handy. They provide tools for building these complex AI pipelines.
And how do we ensure that the results coming out of these pipelines are actually reliable?
Result verification is crucial. We need to have checks in place to detect and correct errors. Tools like DSPy can help with this by embedding validation checks into the AI pipeline. And for critical medical tasks, human oversight is still essential. Doctors need to be able to review and verify the AI's outputs.
So it's a collaboration between human expertise and AI.
Exactly. And this framework of modeling, optimization, and system engineering isn't just theoretical. It's being applied to real-world use cases as we speak.
Could you give us some examples?
Sure. One area is clinical note generation. Doctors spend a lot of time documenting patient encounters. AI can help automate this process by generating accurate and concise notes. RA can be used to ensure the notes follow the correct format for each medical specialty, and AI agents can help with follow-up tasks like drafting emails to patients.
That sounds like it could free up a lot of time for doctors to spend with their patients. What else?
Another application is automated medical coding. This involves assigning standardized codes to diagnoses and procedures for billing and tracking purposes. AI can help streamline this complex process by learning the coding rules and applying them to patient records. RDA can be used to incorporate the latest coding guidelines, and specialized modules can be built for specific coding tasks.
That sounds like it can make healthcare administration much more efficient. What about applications that directly impact patients?
Patient trial matching is a great example. Finding the right clinical trial for a patient can be incredibly time-consuming. AI can help automate this process by analyzing patient data and trial criteria to identify potential matches. Fine-tuned LLMs can predict eligibility, RAG can bring in relevant information from trial protocols, and system engineering can be used to create a multi-step pipeline that streamlines the entire matching process.
So it's about making it easier for patients to find potentially life-saving treatments. What other examples are there?
Another fascinating application is in medical systematic reviews. These reviews synthesize evidence from multiple studies to answer specific clinical questions. AI can help automate this process by searching for relevant studies, screening them, extracting key information, and even performing statistical analysis. This could significantly accelerate the pace of medical research.
Wow, it sounds like AI is poised to revolutionize healthcare in so many ways.
Absolutely. But it's important to acknowledge that there are still significant challenges to overcome.
What are some of the key hurdles?
One major area is multimodality. While LLMs are great with text, they still struggle to understand and reason with other types of medical data like images, lab results, and genomic information. Integrating all these different data sources into a cohesive AI system is a major research area.
So it's about getting AI to see the whole picture, just like a human doctor. What other challenges are there?
Interpretability is another big one. LLMs often operate as black boxes, making it difficult to understand their reasoning. In medicine, this lack of transparency can be a major concern. We need better methods for making these AI systems more explainable.
We need to be able to trust the AI's recommendations, and that requires understanding how it arrives at those recommendations.
Exactly. And we can't forget about the risk of hallucinations, where the AI generates incorrect information. This is a very serious concern, and mitigating it requires a combination of strategies, including careful data curation, robust validation checks, and human oversight.
And of course, there are also the challenges of regulation and compliance in such a sensitive field as healthcare.
Absolutely. Medical AI systems need to adhere to strict standards for safety, efficacy, privacy, and security. This involves navigating a complex regulatory landscape and ensuring ongoing compliance.
So it's a multifaceted challenge.
It certainly is, but researchers are actively working to address these challenges, and there's a lot of excitement about the potential of AI to transform healthcare for the better.
It's definitely a fascinating field to watch. What areas do you think are most critical for future research? And how might these limitations impact the adoption of AI in healthcare? It's something for all of us to think about as these technologies continue to develop.
Absolutely. So to recap our deep dive, here are some key takeaways for you. Adapting general AI is crucial for safe and effective medical applications. The three-step framework of modeling, optimization, and system engineering is guiding development in this field. And we're already seeing real-world applications in areas like clinical note generation, medical coding, patient trial matching, and medical research. But significant challenges remain, especially in areas like multimodality, interpretability, and hallucination. Continued research and collaboration are essential to overcome these challenges and realize the full potential of medical AI.
Absolutely. Looking ahead, it's clear that LLM-driven medical AI has the potential to improve patient outcomes, enhance access to quality care, and reduce the workload on healthcare professionals.
Yeah. And as these technologies continue to evolve, it raises some really interesting questions. How will AI change the doctor-patient relationship? How will it redefine what we consider healthcare? These are big questions to ponder.
Big questions indeed. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into adapting general AI for medicine. We hope this discussion has given you a better understanding of this rapidly evolving field and its potential impact on the future of healthcare.
Absolutely. And if you want to stay up to date on our explorations into AI and its implications, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join us for our next deep dive. We'll see you next time.
For now.
Take care.